I've met some other guys, like I was working on something with Dr. Dre for a little while. So going to his house, and then LL Cool J comes over because they're going to record something. And I'm like, I've been listening to LL Cool J forever.
I watched Stone Age this week. I was I was looking at IMDb and I was looking at your movies and things. And then I also saw Airheads. I never finished watching it. I was watching it last night. But a lot of your movies focus on like rock bands and things. And you yourself were in a band, if I'm not mistaken. Could you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, I started with an interest in bands. I would do interviews with bands for like underground magazines and newspapers back when I was right out of college. So I've always had this fascination with bands, and I've always played in bands, unsuccessfully. So naturally, the movies subject matter I've been attracted to, like Airheads, is about a band that takes over a radio station to get their song played. And the Stone Age has a very, it's a stoner movie set in Southern California in the 70s, and it has a very strong musical element to it that carried over, from my initial interest in interviewing bands. Triple X, the Spy franchise, is really James Bond with a hardcore soundtrack, rather than orchestral music or Adele singing the song. It would be, if they made one today, it would be a much more aggressive soundtrack like they did with the last one, Triple X3. So they're all, and then The Dirt, obviously, is the Motley Crue story. So I have a strong interest in that stuff. I did a documentary about my band going on the Warped Tour. So for whatever reason, that's the niche that I've got for myself. And now, fortunately, when people are thinking about, they need a writer for something like this, I'll be one of the people that would be on the list, so I can go in and, pitch to see if I can get the job.
Is that how they got you to work on The Dirt? Because you have come from a rock star background and things, and writing scripts about that. How did Netflix or whoever approach you to do The Dirt?
Well, the story with The Dirt, I was hired back when Triple X came out, which was, I want to say 2002. That same summer was when I went after the book, The Dirt, because I read the book, I loved it. I, called and found out they were making a movie, and I got hired to do it. I finished my draft in 2004, and it took 17 years from the time I started in 2002, but it took 17 years to get the movie made. It finally came out in 2019, but I had started it in 2002.
Whoa.
So that was one of the most, at least it happened, but it was one of the most frustrating things ever to work on it for several years, and then it goes to bed, and I work on it a little more for another company, and then it goes to bed, and I don't hear about it until 9 years later when somebody else makes it, and they've rewritten the script, and it's finally coming out. And I get to go to the set and all of that, which was great. But I think it's more now, because the Dirt got made, that people would think of me for, a music biopic.
So did you acquire the rights from Motley Crue to write the script and things back then in like 2004?
No, this MTV had a film division back then, and MTV had bought the book from Motley Crue. And they were the ones that hired me to write the movie. And then MTV went out of business, and the rights went to Paramount and Paramount Vantage. And then they went on and on until it finally got to Netflix. But I don't get involved with securing the rights to the material. That's really the job for the studio or for the producer who's hiring you to go and get the rights. As part of the process, I get to go and meet the band and, interview them and get whatever I need details wise from hanging out with them, which is a fun bonus if you like hanging out.
Yeah, what was it like hanging out with the Motley Crue?
It was pretty great. They were, at the time they were broken up, so they weren't playing together. But then during the course of me working on it, they got back together. And so I was able to go and see them play. But what it would be like I would say, hey, can I talk to Tommy? And they would set up a time for me to go to Tommy Lee's house, the drummer, and interview him. And he's just like this crazy guy. We wind up doing shots at like, noon on a Thursday. It's like a dream to be able to hang out with a guy whose music you listen to your whole life and do shots with them for no reason at all, just because it's fun, and have that be part of your job. It's really, really a dream come true. I've met some other guys, like I was working on something with Dr. Dre for a little while. So going to his house, and then LL Cool J comes over because they're gonna record something. And I'm like, I've been listening to LL Cool J forever. So I get to meet him at Dr. Dre's house. All of those things are so exciting. Whether or not something comes out of the project is a different story. That one didn't come together either, but it was a great experience.
Yeah, that must have been crazy. Like you're just there chilling at Dr. Dre's house, and then LL Cool J turns up, and you're like, you probably weren't expecting that.
No, not at all. No, that was a nice bonus.
So on The Dirt, you credited as a co-writer. So did they like make changes to your original script, or why is it that you credited as a co-writer?
Well, I left the project, I want to say in 2006 or 2008. And then the director, Jeff Tremaine, had tried for like 8-9 years to get it made. He had a writer with him, Amanda, who was helping him create a new draft to make Netflix happy. Because my draft was, by the time Netflix wanted to make the movie, my draft was 15 years old. So she came in to work on it with the director. And by the time, we were shooting the movie, it was half her movie and half my movie. You know what I mean? It split right down the middle. And I had not worked on it for the last 10 years before they had it made. So she worked on it for years, working with the director to get it made. And now she's getting to direct a movie, I read, which is amazing for her.
Catch full episodes of Into the Muse on Spotify, Anchor FM, and Apple Podcasts. Into the Muse on Spotify, Anchor FM.